I, Sri Lakshmi from SSRVM JP Nagar, along with my co-host Atira Ji from SSRVM Bangalore South, deem it a great honor to host the event for today, the International Day of Peace 2021. As Puja Gurudev quotes, peace is not something that can be bought from the marketplace or achieved solely by high-level policies. It has to be nurtured within. Inner peace is the basis for building peace in families, communities, and the planet. This International Day of Peace is observed around the world on 21st of September. The UN General Assembly has declared this as a day devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace through observing 24 hours of nonviolence and ceasefire across the world. A day that inspires us to think creatively and collectively about how to help everyone recover better and how to transform our world into one that is more equal, more just, equitable, inclusive, sustainable, and healthier. With immense pleasure, I take this opportunity to welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Swami Virupaaksh, respected chairman of the SSRVM Trust, honorable trustees, and the academic head. I also extend a warm welcome to our respected SSRVM Trust members, principals, vice principals, teachers, parents, and our dear students. Let us begin this auspicious evening by invoking the blessings of the divine.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Thank you, Atiraji. Let us know more about Swami Virupaaksh. Swami Virupaaksh has been with Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar for the last 21 years. After a diploma in business administration and a 9-year stint in advertising and marketing companies, he joined the art of living. He has been teaching yoga and meditation programs for the last 17 years in several countries, including Europe and Sri Lanka. He has closely worked with Puja Gurudev as a key member of his dream team for conflict resolution in Sri Lanka. An admirer of world cultures and languages, saw him learning French in school. His passion for creativity is awesome. Once again, a warm welcome to Swamiji, who will now enlighten us with his precious words of wisdom. Let me now join my co-host Atira Ji in commencing this interesting and interactive question and answer session with Swami Virupaaksh. Over to you, Atira.
Thank you, Sri Lakshmi ma'am. Swamiji, we are all eagerly waiting to hear from you about your journey into the art of living.
Unmute him. So, Dilish, can you unmute Swamiji?
Yeah, fine. So, conflict begins when we are not able to unmute. So, one of the first points of conflict is what? When we keep our expression muted. That's where conflict begins. So, let's keep this thought for the next few minutes of the session. Coming to the question, my journey with the art of living. Well, it was Gurudev's contribution to peace education that attracted me to him. And in early 2000, when I met him for the first time, I was really impressed the way he's bringing about peace education in a very unique way to people all over the world. So for me, he's a hallmark, he's a mentor, and I would say he is the leader in peace education. So that is what brought me to Gurudev and the Art of Living.
That is truly amazing, Swamiji. We know that the Art of Living has taken many peace initiatives in countries like Colombia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and many other countries. We understand that you were there with Gurudev during the peace negotiations in Sri Lanka. Can you please tell us more about it?
Yeah, this was in 2004 when I was playing the role of an administrator in the Bangalore ashram. The tsunami had struck Sri Lanka, and he asked me to travel there. So this was about December 31st, 2004. I went to Sri Lanka and started working on the tsunami relief. And the first week of January 2005, Gurudev made his first visit to Sri Lanka there to oversee our tsunami relief operations, our humanitarian relief operations there. And he asked me and Swami Sadyojata ji, our senior Swami ji, to stay on in Sri Lanka. So that was the time when Swami Sadyojata ji took up the leadership, and I worked under him for the next few years to begin the process of providing the tsunami relief to the people of Sri Lanka, and as well as look at avenues of bringing peace to the country that was facing civil war between the Tamils and the Sinhalese Buddhist. So this was about 25 years that time since the war was going on. And that is where the story started. And Gurudev was invited by the president of Sri Lanka to help resolve the Tamil issue over there. And Gurudev played a very interesting role over there by talking to the Tamils who were abroad, the Sri Lankan Tamils who were abroad, the Sri Lankan Tamils who were there in that country, and he met every section of society. Now, this is a starting point to resolving a conflict. The first point is talking to everyone involved in the conflict. Now, this is a learning for all of us. So when there's a conflict, sometimes what happens, we just close the doors. We just close our mind. Yeah, we don't want to talk to the person in question. Now, I understand there are many students of Sri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir, teachers and management who are currently viewing this program. So if I would say, if you were to context it to your situation, in case there is a conflict, say conflict with your parents, or conflict with your friends, or a conflict with the management, or with a teacher, it could be anything, isn't it? A conflict is part of society. But then in coming to resolve the conflict, one needs an open mind, and the open mind to talk to everyone involved in the conflict. So this was the starting point.
That is really a learning, Swamiji, as you mentioned. It's an eye-opener for everybody. I'm very sure about that. And Swamiji, at the function held in Jaffna, we understand where Gurudev addressed several thousand people. And I think that was the first time any foreign spiritual leader had visited Jaffna since the beginning of a war in mid-80s. Can you please throw some light on this, Swamiji?
Yeah. So in 2006 April, Gurudev visited for the second time the island nation, and he visited the Tamil majority areas, which is in the north and the east of Sri Lanka, is the Tamil majority area. And he was invited there by the people of Jaffna to visit him there. And a very historic significance of that visit was also that in the same venue where we had our program, the Jaffna Hindu College grounds, Swami Vivekananda had visited there for the first time also. So the principal of Jaffna Hindu College had told us that it is a very momentous occasion for Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji to visit there and to meet and talk to the people of the north. And there were several thousand people who came for the program, and they were receiving a spiritual leader after a very long time. And it was very historic also in the sense that it was the first time that a spiritual leader uh, had taken the initiative to go there, visit the country, meet the people, and offer his time, his energy, and his good offices to help resolve the Tamil issue. So it was a very historic occasion, and the people accepted him there with a lot of hope and faith. So this was a very good sign of open-mindedness of the people of northern Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Swamiji. I think that would have been really a momentous and a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, thank you so much. Swamiji, what are your future plans in continuing the mission of spreading peace around the world?
If you're asking my future plans, it's about continuing to be a peacemaker. And I think everyone here on this program do play their role in peacemaking in some way or the other. But when we consciously work towards playing the role of a peacemaker in your own house, in your own society, in the own building, the apartment where you are staying, you could be a peacemaker. In the locality that you're staying, you could contribute in very unique ways in contributing to bringing peace in society. And I urge all our young students who are viewing this program to play that role, And you already have Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji as an inspiration. And we have our programs, which is the Art Excel program, the Yes program, which are all beautiful steps of peace education. So I think all our students and teachers of Sri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir should be very happy and inspired that we do have a founder who is the lighthouse of peace education. Yes.
Swamiji, each of your answer contains something. I think there are so many messages and lots of learning, but still we have lot of kids, students from SSRBM who have joined today. Is there any special message for them, Swamiji? Is there anything special, a message for all of the students?
Yeah. One I would like to say is when you face conflict, okay, you may be facing conflict in your classroom, in your studies, you may be facing conflict with yourself, open up and discuss with your teacher, discuss with your parents. The spirit of being open-minded is very important. Do not hold it to yourself and blame yourself and go into a spiraling whirlpool of guilt. Now that is very, very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. In my experience in Sri Lanka, I found that one of the main reasons why that country faced this conflict is because there was a breakdown in communication. And one of the most important elements in improving our communication, which is very important for students, is listening. Improve our listening skills. Have the patience to listen to others as much as you share with your teachers, as much as you share with your parents, as much as you share with your management. That helps bring your conflict into perspective, and that is where you see a ray of hope, a solution opens up. So I would say this is one of the key points. Open up. Open up. So your listening ability, improving your listening skills, and the other is your ability to express. Your ability to express is very important. Express it in 1 or 2 lines. Express it in one or two lines. This, I think, is extremely important for students. And don't hold back. I'll tell you, when we hold back, when we hide things, that is when the stress builds up. That is when the tension builds up. That is when the trust breaks down between the two parties. Sometimes you see, or you may be having a conflict with one of your parents, for example. Isn't it? It's very natural. Sometimes it happens, isn't it? So open up so that you build and strengthen the faith and trust between each other. This is very important.
Yeah, I'm sure, Swamiji, that is indeed a great learning experience for all of us. Swamiji, how can we instill the attitude of maintaining peace and harmony in our society at large?
As you all know, the practice of yoga, the practice of meditation. I come back to this point again and again because especially in the current situation, people all over the world need to calm their mind, learn to be peaceful with the techniques of meditation and yoga, just for a few minutes every day. Extremely important, which we call sadhana. Sadhan in Sanskrit means the wealth. This is the most important and precious wealth that we have. Wisdom also. You must have heard very often the line, knowledge is power. You must have heard that, isn't it? So you feel the power of knowledge when you are able to accept it. And when are you able to accept it? When your mind has settled down. Otherwise, if you are going to beat about the bush and just going to argue and fight and scream, there's no point for a person. It doesn't allow a person to soak in, forget knowledge, even what common sense the other person is trying to offer. Isn't it? So I would reiterate that yoga and meditation is the basis, the starting point to be able to resolve all conflicts, fights, arguments. So I would suggest make this a daily practice. Make this a daily practice.
Yes, Swamiji, that is really a good tip for all of us, even though almost all of our students do this sadhana daily, but still sometimes they get back, right? So it was nice to hear from you. Thank you, Swamiji. And there are a few questions from our students who have joined. Can we take a couple of them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the first question is from Rudransh Shobhe of grade 10. Let us hear what Rudransh wants to know. Rudransh?
Yes. Swamiji, I got to know that you have trained many celebrities, cricketers, and parliamentarians. who are the cricketers you have met? I'm really fond of cricket, and I'm really keen to know about them.
Yeah, so in 2009 March, when the Sri Lankan cricket team was attacked in Pakistan, in Lahore, in Pakistan, the president of Sri Lanka invited us to offer the Art of Living program to the cricket team there. So Swami Sadyojata ji, our leader there, who was spearheading our activities in Sri Lanka, he and I got together and we put this module for them. And we had a 3 to 4 day program for the entire Sri Lankan cricket team. And they received it very well, because the trauma that they went through in Lahore, Pakistan after the attack was quite intense. I mean, anyone who would face that kind of a situation would know the intensity of it. So we had a very beautiful session with, there was Kumar Sangakkara, who in my personal interaction, I felt was a wonderful, amazing sports person. Very humble, a lovely gentleman, and very friendly. You know, sometimes we think that once you become a star, either in sports or in politics or in any field, sometimes arrogance can come, sometimes ego can come. But one of the beautiful things that I encountered in Kumar Sangakkara was his charm, his friendliness, his simplicity. That was a very amazing experience. And meeting with the other cricketers also, I mean, it was a very beautiful experience. There was Muttaya Muralidharan, who is famous for not only his bowling prowess, but also his wonderful smile. And he could bring cheer also in the group, even during our sessions. He was one of them who brought a lot of cheer amongst his mates also in the group. And it was a beautiful experience.
Thank you, Swamiji.
The next question is from Pragati Pragya of grade 10. Over to you, Pragati.
Thank you, ma'am. Swamiji, I'm really eager to know more about your hobbies apart from your service-oriented activities, like the things that really excite you and you look forward to doing those.
Yeah. Creativity. Okay. So looking at things in a creative way is something that really interests me. And writing is one of my passions. And swimming is one of my favorite sports, and it gives me a lot of relief. Other than yoga and meditation, swimming is something that really interests me. I have been a water baby for very long. Yeah, since childhood. Also, I've really loved swimming, and I believe that when we do something creative, when we exercise the right side of our brain. Now, typically, as you would know, the left hemisphere of the brain is typically of logic, and the right hemisphere is the emotional aspect of it. So when we involve in some creative activity, it brings a certain balance in both the right and left hemisphere of the brain. And it's a very big relief also. So I would urge you students to take up some creative skill. And for me, creativity is not thinking out of the box. You know, you would have heard very often people saying, think out of the box. I would say, do not even think that there is a box. Okay? So when you hear someone telling you now, think out of the box, you take it as there is no box for me. And when you think that there is no box, I'll tell you, your creative skills just flow. Take a paper, take a pen, just sit and write down. Just sit and write. I'll tell you, poetry will come. Just sit and write. Prose will come. Everyone, I believe, every single individual in the planet has creativity in her or him. It is there. You just have to know that there is no out of the box. There is no box at all. That is my greatest hobby, thinking that there is no box at all.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Anything else?
Yes, Swamiji, I think all the questions are almost over. That was the last question.
Okay.
And we are really blessed to have you, Swamiji, on this occasion of International Day of Peace. And the theme of the International Day of Peace is recovering better for an equitable and sustainable world. And as we all know, Art of Living organization has been putting a lot of efforts in this regard by spreading peace, compassion, and the hope in the face of this pandemic. And we are really privileged to have spent time with you, Swamiji. And your words of wisdom really kindled a spark in our minds to do whatever we can for the society, and also how to resolve the conflicts more skillfully, as you showed us in the beginning when you were muted. That itself shows how maintaining peacefulness get the things done automatically around us. And I am sure that our students and parents and teachers and all those who have joined us today got many tips to use in their daily life. It was really motivating when you shared your experiences during Gurudev's mission of strengthening peace and harmony in Sri Lanka. And once again, thank you, Swamiji, for all your words, kind. And now I would like to thank the SSRVM family for giving such a wonderful opportunity to hear from you. And special thanks to our social media tech team and my co-host Sri Lakshmi ji for the continuous support. And let me thank all those who have joined us today for the session. All the students, parents, teachers, all of you. Thank you all. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you all. Jai Gurudev.
So don't forget to unmute at the right time and mute also at the right time. Both are important. Huh? So remember that mute and unmute, unmute and mute, both are important. Okay. All the best to everyone.